Hi, and welcome to a very special edition of Harder Brunch Podcast. First of all, I apologize for my voice. I have been hit with the allergy. It is the allergy season. A little stuffy, so I apologize. However, we have a very exciting day today because today we're celebrating fall of the Patriarchy. And we're celebrating with some of Indianapolis' best chefs and home cooks. All women chefs. Oops, all women is what I like to call it.
Oops, all women.
Oops, all women.
Okay.
So some of the best and brightest have come together to make this amazing menu today, and that's about enough mansplaining. We'll just have the women introduce themselves and the dishes they did, starting with our first celebrity chef,
Grace Seibert.
There it is.
Yeah, I didn't want you to say my last name. You said it wrong earlier in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So,
Ooh.
That was the patriarchy slipping through.
yeah, 1 point, women.
Oh.
But I started the meal. I used some turnips, cubed up.
Turn up for what? Sorry, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah. Yes.
So, as I was saying, turnips cooked in my mothered saved carnitas lard with lots of other things that have been cooked in it. So real fat, real savory. And then I've been experimenting with like natural dyes and things that are really good for you, like ingredients that are good for you, based off of my last dinner party that I did. And I made like a floofy, bright yellow turmeric olive aioli. On top of that with
So good.
green olives,
Yeah.
marigold, and fried mustard greens. I don't think mustard greens get enough attention.
I love the saltiness of the olive with the saltiness of the green.
Yeah, salt. That's salt.
It definitely was like a elevated scramble, you know, like a elevated like the fanciest hash I've ever had.
Thank you. It's
Yeah,
an
it was
experiment, and I'm happy with it. It
was great.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. I don't want to say what I thought about it
Thank you.
because I thought it was great. Like in the texture of whatever was in there, it almost had.
She just told you.
Well, you know.
She just explained what was in there.
He didn't hear it.
Well, no, there was a certain thing that I might not be able to differentiate.
It's a certain thing.
And next, it was so good. Thank you so much.
Right. That means a lot.
Grace, it was great.
Oh no.
She's leaving. She's leaving the studio.
I feel like this is like the old episodes when Chris King would try to guess what the foods that I made. And he'd be like, what was that? Hot dog stew? It was real good.
No, there was something with the texture.
We're not roasting the celebrity chefs here. We're thanking them for the meal that they made us.
Yeah, well, I would like to thank people in my way.
Okay.
And there was there was no fish in there. There was no meat. But like I was thinking if I was vegan,
Yeah.
I would be like, "Oh, this is
You'd be offended.
no, this does everything justice. It's great."
Oh, you were saying it was like
It would make me not miss meat. I'm like, I could eat this often is what I was trying to say.
super savory.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then our next. Oh, yeah. And then we had a. Go ahead. I was not ready. I'm sorry, Brittany. Go ahead. Go ahead with your course.
Well, you had, I can help you intro that one. You had,
I got it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry.
We're doing great.
We had matzo ball soup, 2 ways, matzo ball soup dumpling with confit chicken thighs, farm carrots, fennel, silk chili, and Malden salt, brought to you by My Jewish Chef, and it was wonderful.
Delish. I'm Brittany Baxter, creator of The Amaze Ball. With Eat Surreal. Was on this fine podcast last April when Chris King was trying to guess what that dish was. I didn't cook then, but I got to cook today, and I made a sliced eggplant long ways, and I air fried it because we love a good air fryer.
Yeah.
I wanted to hate it, but I love the air fryer. Makes everything so fast and crispy. And then did the brand new Amazeball pizza, smeared on the eggplant and rolled those bad boys up for a tasty dish.
Delicious.
Yeah, you liked it?
Oh, I loved it.
Another vegan option? I'm not vegan. That's why it tastes so
Yeah.
good.
And everybody knows I'm not vegan, but I would do that and again and again and
You
again.
do my balls?
Did you say do your balls?
You would do my balls over and over?
Is that one of your phrases? I'll say that to promote.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll do your balls.
I like to ask people at the farmer's market if they'd like to taste my balls.
I love that.
Yeah.
So it's very catchy.
We got a new Amaze Ball coming out. Come and find us. Collab with 8th Day Distillery.
What is it?
It's a cherry bourbon cocoa.
Oh, wow.
Thank you so much, you guys.
Yeah. And I gotta say, these spreads, it's kind of what it's almost like cheating using your own product. I don't know. It's like next time be like, I want to eat it because it's so good, but I feel like it was cheat code.
I'll do a whole menu with all my spreads.
You can put that on anything, and it's gonna be delicious.
Yeah.
Listen, I was able to do like a little quick show with her at the what was it? We were at that baseball field.
I literally
Baby
can't.
Got
Oh,
Brunch.
Harder Brunch. No, that's where I'm at
Baby
right
Got
now.
Brunch.
Baby Got Brunch.
We were at Baby Got Brunch, and so many people were telling me about how much they love the Amaze Balls.
Yeah.
You have a great product. I support it
Thank you.
100%.
Yeah, we did a carrot lox that day.
It was so good.
Delightful.
You're killing it.
Call me anytime, guys.
Thank you so much for being on
Thank you.
the Fall of the Patriarchy episode. Now, speaking of patriarchy,
Empowerment.
home comedian, registered nurse.
I'm a nurse practitioner. Thank you very much.
Well, did you register that? I don't know how it works. Are you an unregistered nurse?
Ooh.
No, I'm still registered. Registered offender.
And
Registered nurse offender.
and most importantly, home cook, Gwen Sunkle.
Home cook Gwen's uncle. Yeah. I don't know how I got invited to make a dish in this great cavalcade of celebrity chefs, but I made a mother and child reunion fried chicken, which had so it was fried chicken legs with a salted duck egg sauce and braised collard greens. And I made that because it made me think of my mom, because I was vegan for many, many years, but once a year I would break edge, and my mom and I would go out for a secret shame fried chicken dinner
Nice.
once a year while I was vegan, and so it's a special memory with her.
That's awesome.
Did you know that there was duck egg in that?
No, I did not know there was duck egg in that, and I should have known.
Yeah,
Because Gwen is privy to the game. She understands.
she knows.
She knows there's a secret duck
She knows.
egg in
Yeah.
every Harder Brunch.
Yeah, and that the Paul Simon song "Mother and Child Reunion." He got the title for that song because he was eating at a diner one morning, and they had a dish with a chicken with an egg on top of it called "Mother and Child Reunion."
What?
Yeah,
Wow, this was a deep cut.
it was. Had a lot going on there.
Wow.
So and I'm not blowing smoke up here. I can't remember the last time I had fried chicken that good.
Oh, stop!
I really can't. Like fried chicken, there's
all very sweet.
I feel like there's a window with fried chicken, like of before it like starts to degrade.
Well, you were a real enabler on this recipe because I was like, Dyke, should I fry this in lard? And he was like, absolutely. And I
Wait.
was like, all right, I will.
Can we go back to the degrading chicken? What are you talking about that?
Like I feel like chicken after I don't know, like chicken after a while, or even like sometimes when I go out to restaurants to get like chicken and waffles and stuff, it's just like the chicken's
It's been
just
sitting there a while.
yeah, just under a heat lamp or something, and like this was still juicy. Like fried chicken, you want crunchy on the outside, juicy and delicious on the inside. And it's like sometimes when I eat fried chicken, I'm always a little disappointed. Like, oh,
Yeah.
this could have been better.
Yeah, I was frying that one piece at a time.
Yeah. What I'm calling
single cast iron
begging
skillet.
for allergy medicine. She's like, yeah, I'll get right on that, Dyke, when I'm not pan frying chicken to order here.
Yeah,
Well,
it was delicious.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. You
Thank
you
you
really
for
knocked it
having
out of the
me.
park.
Thank you.
And if I hadn't called you a home cook, I think everyone would have thought you were a chef.
Yeah.
Don't put that kind of pressure.
You're a chef. You're a chef in my book.
You are a chef in his book.
The bar has been lowered.
And then a very special interpreter for our vocally challenged chef. You know her, you love her. She's the meat king of Harder Brunch.
Oh, the Meat King is here.
She blew out her voice, unfortunately. So Bridget Horan, peace be upon her. Grace is going to say what Bridget made.
Yeah, Bridget wrote this up, so I'm just going to read directly what she said. because it was amazing. But I'm also going to add a little like annotation, personal annotation.
Yeah.
It was a giant. She didn't say this. It was a giant charcuterie board, round charcuterie board. It looked like it was cut directly from like a tree stump. It was awesome. But it's completely full to the brim. This is what she said. I wanted to draw inspiration from all the women who taught me to cook. I made a banana walnut bread that my grandmother on my mother's side used to make. A zucchini walnut bread from my grandmother on my father's side, which was the most moist, like cakes that I've ever, like breads that I've ever, like zucchini breads. They're always moist, but this one was like superior. The first female chef I worked under taught me to make her mom's fudge caramel ganache brownies. So I made those. And when I started running my own kitchens and creating menus, I wanted to foster an environment where everyone felt included and could be creative. And I found the things I loved putting on menus were shareable dishes that stirred up nostalgia and feelings of community. Beautiful. So I put all these thoughts together on a dessert charcuterie board and some of my favorite local fruits and cheeses and some jams, homemade cinnamon butters, and pumpkin nutmeg cheese spreads. I
wish you could always be Bridget's interpreter. Like that was beautiful.
Yeah, that was really good. Wait, she made the brownies too?
Yeah, she made all of it.
Oh my gosh.
Besides the grapes, and the cheesy grapes.
Yeah, you didn't make the grapes. I knew you were doing it.
Why are you surprised? She's a professional baking and pastry chef. Why are you surprised that she made those?
Dyke, I saw those brownies and they look store-bought.
They're not.
They did look so perfect.
They look so perfect.
Yeah.
That's not a diss. They look so perfect, and she's brought store-bought stuff to the house before. So I wasn't sure.
We didn't need to bring that up on Follow the Patriarchy Day.
I wasn't sure if it was store-bought.
Maybe we would
it looked good.
Given her a day off.
You know what? I can barely talk right now. This is absolutely ridiculous. That on today of all days, I am a professional pastry chef. So you know what?
Yeah.
If things I bring look good, it's because I have years and years of schooling, and I have worked in many professional kitchens, and I am a goddamn professional.
Bitch.
Hey, since it's the fall of the patriarchy, I'll let her call me a bitch. All she wants. And
have you ever got cussed out by Mickey Mouse before?
That's funny. That deserves an applause break. That was good. I will also say, in my defense, I don't need to make a defense. I just was confused. That one time, what was it?
No, let's not. We're not going to stick. I know you're not going to stick the landing on this. I have no faith in it. I do want to real quick.
Zach, can you help me out?
No, that's not what we're doing today. This is not the day for it.
I thought it was fall. I thought it was fall of the patriarchy, meaning the patriarchy gets to speak during fall because it's fall.
Oh, like autumn of the. No, in all seriousness, I do want to thank all the women that came here today.
Yeah.
You guys really do make Harder Brunch better. You make our show better. You make us better. I'm glad to have you all around, especially the OGs that have been around since day one, and our new friends. And also, you guys are all amazing chefs, so it's really good to sit back and eat your food and have a nice treat day. So
yeah, this is great.
Thank you guys so much, and let's start the show.
Woo!
You turn the beat up. Thank you. Yeah. Bobby, I'm eating brunch with my people though. Homie Dykers cooked up a feast and we bout to eat it, bro. Fucked around and had to mix the lobster with the poutine. Daddy is rolling blue dream, them boys got down a routine. It's Naptown culture, cooking 7 courses. Had to pass the torch and now I'm grabbing second portion. So sit back, relax, grab a drink and a smoke. It's Harder Brunch on the way and get prepared for the jokes. Whoa, it's Harder Brunch, yeah. It's Harder Brunch, whoa.
Hey, welcome to the Harder Brunch Podcast. I'm your host, Dak Michaels, with a brand new theme song by Sirius Black.
Hey.
Oh my God. The beat by Bobby Trill.
Woo!
And you know who produced that joint?
Yeah, I know who produced that.
The Sauce Boss of Indianapolis.
Shout out.
Last Woke Dragon, Zach Road.
Shout out.
Hey there.
Great job.
Yeah, no, I felt very happy about it. I still need to get back some of the critiques from Bobby and tweak it a little bit. But no, like for my first go at like producing the actual music track, of course it was all made for me, but
Yeah. Well, I like your thinking of just say yes. You know, you just were like, can you do this? Yes.
yeah, no, I definitely did that.
And then I felt like you just pushed a bunch of buttons. You look like me when I was playing Street Fighter as a little kid. You were just tapping all these buttons.
I was trying so hard to keep a serious face. And when he said things, be like, hey, pull this up, do this, loop this, and just be like, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Shout out and big thanks to a local musical legend, Sirius Black, for the theme song.
I mean, the first time producing it is for Sirius Black.
Yeah. You set the bar pretty high, Zach.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to go do anything else. Like, I mean, I'm not doing anything for you guys
Now
because you're way below my level now.
Now you're slumming it. Back to the slums. And with me, as always, my co-host, Thaddeus J. McKee.
Slappy Pappy Want Want.
And very special guest with us in studio, celebrity chef Jenna Unrue.
Thank you.
Woo! Welcome
Celebrity chef. Wow,
welcome to the program.
Thank you.
I feel like you are a local celebrity.
Really?
Well, because I remember when I first met you, you were being introduced as the Pie Lady.
Yes.
Because you were a chef to a local celebrity.
Yes, that is true.
Tom from Bob and Tom Show.
You are correct. Yeah.
How did that come about? Come about.
Well, I always wanted to kind of start making pies and wanted to start this company called Heirloom Craft. Never came about, but that's another conversation. But basically a friend of mine knew about it and said, hey, are you still trying to start your business? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, I have a friend that needs some pies for Thanksgiving. He missed the deadline of the place that he normally orders pies for. And this is like 2 days before Thanksgiving. And I said, okay, sure. I'll make him some pies. And then he says, all right, cool. Here's his phone number. His name's Tom Griswold.
Hey.
And I was like, oh, that person. Okay. So I called Tom and he said, okay, well, what's on your menu? And I'm like, well, I don't have a menu. What do you want? And he said, well, I really like an apple pie. And I said, okay, I can do that. And just kind of continued. And we met in the parking lot of kind of where Three Wise Men used to be. And just did a pie deal in the parking lot.
Shady pie drop off.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. And then it just stuck. And so I became his pie lady. And
can you imagine if you were like a cop, like in a parking lot, and you're like, what's going on over there? And then you go, and it's Tom from Bob and Tom, like buying pies.
Well, and I had always heard of Tom, but I didn't know what he looked like. And so I'm kind of just wandering around this random parking lot at night, looking for an old guy to give some pie to. It was just very random.
But then did he, I mean, obviously it was a hit, but then did he talk about you on the radio?
He has, yes. So the job that I used to work, I would go in about noon and work nights. And my husband, he works in the mornings, and so he always listens to the Bob and Tom Show, and my phone starts blowing up. And I'm like, what is wrong? I'm still asleep. And he's like, you're being talked about on national radio right now. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, they're talking about the pie lady. So
that's amazing.
Surreal, yeah.
And that's our perfect the intersection of comedy and cooking. I feel like is the whole point of this podcast. So that's a great kind of origin story. Weren't you making like mini pies at one point, or was that just for like?
No, I've never done mini pies.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a lot more. I was doing something called a pie bar.
That's what I'm thinking of.
A pie bar?
Pie bar, yeah. We were invited to someone's house.
It was build your own pie.
It was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Someone's house, and I didn't really know what to bring. And I was like, I want to bring pie, but I can't really decide on a flavor. And so I said, why don't I just put all the fillings in a jar and then bake off all the crust and just put it on the side. And then you can build your own pie using all the different fillings. Yeah. And we tried that a few times, and it sounds great in theory, but it doesn't work as well as you would think. The pie crust, you want it to be flaky. And if it's in this giant bowl with a bunch of other pie crust, it kind of tends to fall apart. And, all the fillings, some of them have to be refrigerated. Some of them are better warm. So it sounds great, but didn't
I'm
really work.
glad that you downplayed it, because as soon as you started saying it, I was like, now I have to get this for him for his birthday.
Yeah. No, I would
Did
go
you see
to
his eyes light up when he was a pie bar?
Well, I'm a big pastry fan. I like pies.
He's a pastry boy.
I'm a pastry boy. That's what I'm known as. And I would go there. I'd just like, give me an apple pie neat. Like, that's how I would go to a pie bar.
Right. Yeah. That's fair. Just go up with a spoon.
Yeah.
And so when was the transition from you just slinging pies in an alley to celebrities to being the owner-operator of Four Birds Bakery?
That was in August of 2017.
Okay.
So Four Birds Bakery started out of the home of H2O Sushi, and I got to know the owners really well just from being a customer. And they told me that they were selling the business, and I congratulated them, hope that, somebody takes it over and continues it. A couple of weeks go by, and they said, we want you to buy the business. And I said, well, unless you want it for $20, I'm not really your person.
Yeah.
We just bought a house, and it just was not great timing. I wasn't planning on buying a business. And they encouraged me to, see if I could come up with some funding for it. And I went to several banks, and they all said no. And a friend of mine suggested that I talk to the people at Hotel Tango, said that they had some great luck with a nearby bank. So I went up to Merchants Bank of Indiana and took samples, and they said yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, you sealed the deal with food.
With food, yes,
wow,
100%.
I didn't even know that was an option. I didn't know you could take...
I mean, I thought about it, and I'm like, if you want to invest a lot of money in something,
Yeah.
you probably want to know what it tastes like. So
Yeah.
So I brought food and went back to the owners and said, okay, this is how much I have. And they said, great, see if you can double it. And I was like, okay. And I thought, you know what, worst case scenario, they're going to say no.
Yeah.
So I went back to the bank and I said, okay, well, the owners want me to double it. And they said, okay.
So now what did that come with? That came with, besides the name, obviously, but did that come with like a bunch of baking equipment? And
So I bought the business on a Friday and was turnkey on Monday and started with employees, recipes,
Oh,
the
wow.
kitchen, clients. I mean, literally, I stepped into their shoes and started running a business.
wow.
That is super amazing. Pretty lucky.
Oh my gosh, so lucky. Like that never happens. Like I told you off air, I was waiting, to be punked because I was just like, A, no bank is just going to say yes. B,
Right.
no bank is going to say that they'll double it. And then C, how am I really going to walk into a business that's already existing and just own it?
Well, I will say this because I know that you won't, but you really, like, no one, I never heard of Four Birds until you took over.
Really?
And you have, like, taken it through the stratosphere. Like,
Thank you.
I mean, I don't know the business side of it, but obviously the food side of it, and I'm sure you have to, like, keep the books and everything in order. But, like, you've made Four Birds the Four Birds that it is today.
Thank you very much.
And
That means a lot.
I think one of the best bakeries in the Midwest.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, definitely.
That just gave me the chills. Thank you.
I mean, it's something that, like, if I go into a place and they have Four Birds, I'm like, okay, these people know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And you were kind of operating like at first, like, you didn't have a store for it, right?
That is correct. They didn't have a kitchen. They obviously knew that they wanted to sell it. So they had looked at a couple other kitchens, but since they were going to sell, they decided not to sign the lease on anything. And I was operating out of a friend of theirs, their restaurant in the kitchen. And they ran a lunch business, and I had to have all of the ovens out of the way of the hotline by 10 a.m. And that entailed moving a double-decker oven on wheels, disconnecting the gas line, setting up the oven again. And then when I was done, I had to move that across the kitchen back to where it was kept, and then put their range back in place, make sure the gas lines were connected, and I had to be done baking by 10 a.m. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Now, do you keep more like traditional like baker's hours now, or do you get to still set your hours?
So when I took over Four Birds, the biggest thing that I wanted was kind of life balance. If I wanted to do something, I didn't want to have to say, I'm sorry, I can't because I have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning or whatever. So we decided not to have a retail store. And a lot of people said, oh, give it a year, you're going to have a retail spot. Well, we don't. We have retail hours on Fridays only because people ask for them enough. But during the week, we have people that come in at 6 a.m. We have people that come in at 8 a.m. And I'm of the mindset if, some people are morning people and in the afternoon hours, their brain is like, I'm done, I'm fried,
Yeah.
I need to go home. And so I want those people to come in at 6 a.m. And then we have some people who aren't morning people and are not their best. And so I tell them to come in at 8 a.m. And so we're super flexible. We really try to make sure that people operate when they are at their best. And if we want to take off for the whole weekend for Thanksgiving or something, we just get everything done Monday through Wednesday. And then everybody has off Thursday to Sunday. So
I love that.
Yeah.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
What do the 4 birds stand for?
That is a big question. So the 4 birds stand for 4 kids. And Eli and Nicole, the previous owners, they have 4 children. And we thought about changing the name, but people
one
were...
bird?
Right. We didn't have 1 bird at that time.
Okay.
But, the branding was there. People knew it. And we just thought it would be too messy to change it. So we kept it with 4 birds. And we do only have 1 child right now. No plan to have 4. So
When I worked at, any place I've worked at that's sold, if they would ask me, they're like, what's 4 birds mean? I go, oh, there's 4 birds baked into each one.
Oh, nice.
And then I offer no follow-up. And then I walk away.
We do have some people at the farmers markets that will say, are these really for birds? I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that while you were taking a drink. But
bird cookies.
Yeah. They think that it is for bird consumption.
I'm sure birds like that. Well, what type of eggs do you use in these cookies?
Right? I mean, we use chicken eggs.
So, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, chicken birds.
Yeah.
I want to go back to something you said real quick because I think it's very important, and it's a very simple thing that you just don't hear a lot, and it's taking note of that work-life balance and also extending that to your employees. And I think that's so important when you were just like, I want people to work. I want people to be at their best when they're at work.
Right.
I mean, on the one hand, that is kind of like, okay, it makes the most sense for your business, but you're just also extending that courtesy to employees of just like, I've had jobs where I had to be somewhere early. Mm-hmm. It was miserable. My brain does not function well early in the morning. My brain doesn't function well at all anytime, but especially early in the morning, it's not good. It's like I think business owners that take that into consideration, I think it makes so much sense.
So my big thing is, I want people to come to work and enjoy what they do,
right.
And if they respect me, I'll respect you, kind of a thing. And it is a very different mentality that a lot of kitchens don't have. And some people have been able to continue that with me, and some people haven't been able to because they, might take advantage of that situation or whatever. And it's definitely something that we are molding for sure. Mm-hmm. Because you want to, if somebody's having a bad day and they can't come in, you have to pick up their slack. Mm-hmm. And if you don't, then the business suffers. And the
Right.
thought is, well, then when they have a bad day, the person that they picked up their slack for will now pick up their slack, and so it's just this kind of give and take thing. And I think it's really important to just make sure you want to work there. Otherwise, why would you stick around?
Yeah, why would you be there?
Yeah.
You've been doing a lot of really cool pop-ups lately.
Thank you.
I saw the one most recently with a friend of the show, Circles Ice Cream.
Yes. Yeah.
They were doing a 4 bird circles pop-up, and that, I don't know, there was like kind of a take on an ice cream sandwich that I saw. I was so mad. I'm
Yes.
always working during these pop-ups, and I was like, I had so much FOMO. And
Yeah.
I think we reposted. I was like, please go see this because it's like it looks great. Like the picture.
Thank
Can you
you.
describe what the picture was? On
Yeah.
the front?
So in February of 2021, I guess that would be, we moved to a new spot, and it was much bigger than what I needed. And that was kind of the hope that we wouldn't have to move for a little while. And Wes from Circles Ice Cream contacted me and said, hey, do you have some extra space? Can I rent some? And so Wes and I share a space, and he operates out of there. And we were talking about what we were doing, and we were going to do steam bun sandwiches with fried chicken. And we said, wouldn't it be awesome if we could just fry one of these steam buns like a donut and then shove some ice cream in it? Steven and I were in Chicago one time, and we went to Duck Duck Goat, Stephanie Izard's place, and we had this burrito that was kind of like this crepe that was filled with ice cream, hoisin caramel, chili oil, fried wontons. It was just this, I'm getting chills again telling you, it was so good. And we were like, let's recreate that. So it was a hoisin caramel. We did some fried wontons that we tossed in a Chinese 5 spice.
Oh yeah.
And then added some chili crisp and Wes's brown butter ice cream. Yeah.
I love that. Like, this is my favorite part of like discovering the food world, like just people getting creative and then making things that you're not even dreaming of. And, like, it's amazing. And I love Wes. Like, he's just a creative that just like came up with a Circles ice cream. Like, hey, what if I made ice cream this way? And so to see you guys kind of team up together is great.
I can tease a little bit. We're going to be doing a pop-up on November 11th at the bakery. And we're going to do cheese style fried ice cream.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so we're actually going to take Wes's ice cream, throw it in the deep freeze, and then deep fry it.
Let's go.
Yeah, and it's from 4 to 7, so hopefully you're not working during that time.
I think I would have enough time to take it off because
There you go.
I want to be there for the important stuff.
Yeah.
You did say something too. I just feel like for some reason you're a lucky person. I don't know if you always fall into these things. Like your origin story, you said that you just got your culinary school paid for just because you were a good help. Can you talk about that?
Well, I didn't get the culinary school paid for. The deal was basically if I paid for culinary school, they would open up a bakery and I could run it. So when I was 15, my mom said, I want you to learn the value of hard work and I want you to go out and get a job. I'll pay for all the necessities, but anything extra I want you to work for. And so I worked at this local pizza shop, worked there for about 5 years, and this couple that came in, I got to know them really well. And when I was a senior in high school, they said, what do you want to go to college for? And I said, just general studies till I figure it out. And they said, well, we used to live on the East Coast. We really miss Italian-style bakeries, and we've always wanted to have one here. We like your work ethic. If you pay to go to culinary school, we'll pay for the bakery, and you can run it.
Oh.
And I was like, I'm 18. I have nothing else to do. Why not? Let's do it. So we started meeting, testing recipes. I moved out to San Francisco to work at an Italian-style bakery. And then I came back and did not hear from them for several years until they walked through the doors of a place that I used to work. And yeah, that was an interesting night for sure. But yeah, when I told my mom that I was going to culinary school, she was like, I can't even get you in the kitchen to make mac and cheese. Like, you're really going to culinary school. But I fell into an industry that I love. I actually tried to leave the culinary industry and go to nursing school. I liked it, but I came back to food. It's just something that I really enjoy. I met my husband through there, a lot of friends through there, so I'm definitely staying around.
I love it.
And you're really good at it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can we take a quick pause real quick? Gen Z can't stop raving about the Harder Brunch Patreon.
Patreon.com/Harder Brunch slaps.
No cap, the Harder Brunch Podcast is bussin' on God.
Move over, Boomer. Gen Z's here to talk to you about the Harder Brunch Patreon.
Harder Brunch Podcast on Patreon, $3 a month, low-key a steal.
The Harder Brunch Podcast deadass has me bricked up every day.
Listen to these all totally real testimonials.
No, I'm getting paid to do this, don't worry. Yeah. No, you think I do this for free? No.
The Harder Brunch Podcast deadass slaps.
Sound younger!
The Harder Brunch Podcast deadass slaps.
Just go to patreon.com/Harder Brunch.
The Patreon After Brunch Podcast hits different. That shit makes you feel shit.
Welcome back. We're talking with Chef Jenna Unrue from Birds Bakery. Let's talk about some of the food that we had today. You came on a very special day.
I did.
And unbeknownst to you.
Nope.
Wait, you didn't know it was going to be the fall of the patriarchy?
No, I asked Dyke, what do I need to know? And he said to show up 12:30, this address. If you have trouble, give this number a call. And I was like, okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
She's one of the most elusive guests on Harder Brunch. I've been trying to get her on for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Really?
She was you were at the top list of people that I wanted originally, and every time I'm trying to get you on, you've been busy, which is great for your business, but it's not for the podcast. And then we even had her husband on, as like a consolation prize. You know? No, he was wonderful. But yeah, I've been trying to get you on the show for like the better part of 3 years. Like
I did not know.
Hard to get.
Whole
Apparently
time.
so.
Well, with business owners is like Sundays can be really rough, you
Yeah.
know. And then we had that whole COVID thing, and so very excited you're here, and so I wanted to do something special. And I always get a little nervous when I have chefs on. I'm like, oh, what did I cook for chef? And a lot of times too, we'll just do like fun stuff like burgers and pizza and barbecue. But I've been wanting to also do this fall of the Patriarchy idea and have some of our talented women cooks and chef friends on. And man, did they knock it out of the park today.
They definitely knocked it out of the park. If I wished that you would have told me anything, it would have been to wear stretchy pants today because like I think it was course 2. I was like, how many more courses do we have? Because I am filling up.
Now, did your husband not warn you? Did he not tell you you were going to eat a lot?
No, he told me just that, you know, come hungry, but
Yeah.
that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to eat 5 courses of delicious, you know, eat every single ounce of it food. So
I think we need to work on just getting like a kind of like what would you call that, Zach? Like best practices thing that we said to people. Just be like,
I would agree.
Like outside of come hungry, like come
stretchy pants.
Like it's a marathon, not a race.
Correct,
Because
yeah.
a lot of times people will fill up on the first course or
Uh-huh.
the first 2 courses,
Right.
and not realize what's yet left to come.
Yeah, when the giant platter of fried chicken came out, I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh no, like, I don't have enough room for this."
Yeah, I panicked when I saw everybody like just going down on that
You even
chicken.
said something, yeah.
I was like, oh shoot, I gotta say something. I'm gonna kill them. And I ran. I'm like, hey guys, don't eat that chicken. I mean, do eat it, but we do have boxes.
yeah,
I was worried.
yeah.
Man, I one of my favorite parts about doing this podcast is I get to talk and hang out with some of the most talented people in the city.
Yeah.
And then extra fortunate that a lot of those people just kind of linger around and become part of the show. Like everyone that's like, even like producer Zach, like he was a guest. You know, it was like he owned batch number 2 mustard and then became part of the show. And then Thad came on as a comic guest and becomes the co-host, and you know,
and I do like to say this: I did not get 5 courses. He said, "Just hey, whatever's in the fridge, just cook yourself up
I've
a
got
plate."
some Dominoes. It's cold. You know, over there.
That microwave takes a little bit more, so add an extra 5 seconds.
It has evolved over time. There was one of the early days. It was like kind of like, oh, we're gonna be making like one thing, and
Right.
So I think when he came on, it was just like what was it, steak?
Oh,
steak and eggs, right?
It was cured steak.
Sure.
And there was like a special butter that you put on it, a garlic butter. And then, but it was a special steak. It wasn't just any type of
special care steak day.
Yes,
I remember.
And you had another guest on. It was wonderful. I was like, this is a neat idea, and I kind of saw the idea. But it wasn't until I moved in and I would wake up every morning and there would be people like eating and dining, and I could get up whenever I want. I had no responsibilities, and it's cooking a massive feast. So I was like, oh, like this is something.
He also wasn't part of the show, so he would just wander out and then just like
Gnaw on a fried chicken piece. And
go back to bed.
Right.
Like, who is this guy? I don't know.
Everyone's like, oh yeah, this is my new roommate.
Well, it's an awesome concept. I mean, I feel like there are a lot of people out there that I would like to know more about, and getting them on the show with some delicious food, why not? So,
who would you interview if you could?
Ooh, good question.
Oh gosh, that's a loaded question.
From Indianapolis.
We were actually talking the other day in the bakery, and I'll ask you guys this question as well. If you could see one thing be more socially acceptable that isn't already an discussing topic, what would it be? And my answer was, I want to be able to walk up to someone that I know nothing about, who is different than me, and say, explain this to me, or tell me about this, or tell me about you. And, I see Ruchi Marie from Chai Haiti, I think is the company, and she's Indian. And I would love to know more about, you know, her brother got married, and I saw a few of the pictures, and it's like, I really just want to sit down for 4 hours and be like, tell me every single second.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I love cultures and just learning about different things that I don't know anything about, you know. I've always said if I could choose to do anything in the world, it would be a combination of kind of what Alton Brown does, where he explains like the science of food, and then kind of what Anthony Bourdain did, where he just would go to the hole in the wall, you know, people's homes and things of that nature, and just explore them and tell people, you know, this is a Ethiopian dish and this is why it's important and things of that nature. I think that'd be super cool.
You know what I'd like to pitch to you as something that I think you and your husband should do. Because I know you guys are like food nerds, and when you guys go on vacation, you like make these elaborate plans.
We do
to hit, and like I'm the same way, but I feel like you guys are more. There's more method to your guys' plans than mine.
We have a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Actually.
Oh. So like, I grew up in a family full of bird watchers.
Okay.
And like once you get pretty deep into the bird watching game, they will actually, you pay like these people to like lead trips, and they're like, okay, we're gonna look for this bird, or we're gonna go to this part of the country, we're gonna take so many days, and then like you have this trip that's just led. I think you guys should do food tours like that, where you go scout these places out ahead of the time.
Yeah.
And then you have people sign up, pay you, and then they take you, and then you like talk about the city, talk about the food culture, take them.
Steven knows a ton of random history as well, so.
Doggone it.
Yeah.
I think you guys would be great at that.
A food tour, like you take them on a tour guide.
Yeah.
I would love to do that. So we have a spreadsheet for different cities that we've been to, and the way it started was Steven's mom lives in Olympia, Washington. One time when we went out there, we flew into Portland, did that for a few days, and then drove up to see his mom. And we ate at a ton of different places that we really liked. But then when people would ask us, where was that one place that you had that one thing? We couldn't remember. And so it's like, all right, we'll just start writing them down on a sheet, and then we can share that sheet with whoever asks. Well, that has now grown into different tabs for different cities. And I think like St. Louis has 150 different places on it that we love to go.
Wow.
And you know, it's something that we love, but we've never done it here in Indy.
Oh, wow.
We've never like been a tourist in our own city kind of a thing. So I think that'd be really cool to just have somebody be like, hey, let's go with you and try a bunch of food. Because if you go out to a place with two of you, you can't eat nearly as much versus if you have 3 or 4 people. You know, you can split it all a lot more.
Right. So. Well, this is what I'd say. Put Harder Brunch on the first stop.
Okay.
Like, they don't have to eat here, but like...
or maybe you guys should just go with us.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would do a food tour any day of the week.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, job, I quit.
We're actually going out to wine country in November, and we're going to go to Napa and Sonoma and Russian River, and we're going to go have dinner out there. I'm super excited. We're actually going to eat at the French Laundry.
Oh,
I know.
How long a wait is that?
Well, a friend of mine wanted to surprise her husband with tickets for this event that they're having with a chef from Paris, and wanted to do it for Christmas and his birthday. But she couldn't just buy 2 seats. They only had tables. And so she said, if you get yourself out there and pay for flight and hotel, you can go to dinner with us. And so we're going to dinner at the French Laundry.
So I don't know. Thad doesn't know this, but the French Laundry.
You just named 2 things I don't like. Laundry and French. But
well, this is like there's like a laundromat, and then like there's like a secret door, and you knock on the door 3 times. And
is this a lie?
And there's like a little hit. No, there's a restaurant behind the laundromat, and you go in, and it seats like 4 people, but it's like you have to get you have to get tickets way far in advance.
But it only seats 4 people. This is not a good business model.
No, it's a terrible business model.
I mean, our table is a table of 6. So if that tells you anything.
Oh, it tells me that he is lying. Dyke is part French, so I see.
But yeah, I'll be sure to take some notes on places to go out there because San Francisco is beautiful, California is awesome. So.
And in the meantime, I will just be recreating Thomas Keller dishes in my own house with my cookbook.
I will say a lot of people probably don't know what the French Laundry is. People listening right now, they're probably like, wait, tell us actually what the French Laundry is.
It's a very famous restaurant.
famous.
Yeah.
Probably world famous.
World famous.
World famous, I would say.
Okay. All right.
Have you heard of the chef Thomas Keller before?
Wait. Let me. Okay. Thomas Keller.
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Keller. No, I have not.
Well, it's his restaurant.
You talking about Tommy Kills? You talking about Big Tommy Kills?
we talking about TK?
Dyke goes way back with him.
Yeah. He used to come over and eat chicken all the time.
But yeah, enough about that.
All right, guys. If you guys want to know about the French Laundry, just look it up yourselves. It's probably not that good.
I hear the food sucks, but
Yeah.
So when you're not running a business,
yes,
being a mom,
yes,
being a wife,
yes.
What do you like to do just for you for fun?
Is there time for that?
I don't know. You tell me. There's got to be.
I like to build things.
Okay.
When we had the bakery on Virginia Avenue, I built this bookcase that stored all of our office stuff, and then I also built the desk that was there.
Nice.
We have a thing that goes over our washer and dryer, like a little shelf. Built that.
That makes sense. You got, because if you're a baker, then you got math and science brain.
Well, I should say, I basically go to a friend of mine. Her name's Beth, and I say, "Hey, Beth, I want to make this. How do we do it?" And then she says, "Well, you need to tone it back a little bit because that's a lot. And then this is how you do it." And she helps me build it. So she really does all the math, and then I just cut things and screw them together. So
I'm like the least handy person you'll ever meet, and I built that little outdoor pizza oven. I mean, granted, it's like adult Legos. It was just bricks and 2 paver stones.
Sure.
But when I made it, like built it, and then it actually worked, and it cooked a pizza.
It feels great,
yeah,
doesn't
I was
it?
just like, man, I really built something.
Yeah, we moved into our house, and every single cabinet has one shelf right in the middle, regardless of how tall it is. And I was like, we can't put anything in here. And so there's this tool that you can put against the side of it, and it has the holes spaced out, and you can just put your drill through, and it'll make sure that you don't drill all the way through the cabinet. And I went through and redid all of our cabinets and put more shelves in them, and it's a lot of fun. We kind of tease that anytime that there are tools on the Christmas list, people will say, "Will you ask Steven what he wants for this?" And it's like, no, that's not for Steven. That's actually for me. But yeah, I really enjoy it.
I used to live with my ex-girlfriend, and we would host international students.
Oh, that's cool.
So we had this student, from all over the world. We had kids from Japan, kids from like all over the place, but we had this one student that lived with us for almost 2 years, and he was from Saudi Arabia. Mm-hmm. And these are all rich kids, to come over and take ELS and go through, they go to the Kelly School of Business or whatever. Sure. So this was a very rich, privileged Saudi Arabian kid who got a culture shock when he was coming over here, and he would watch me cook the food, cook the meal, and then my ex-girlfriend would fix the sink when it broke or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I remember the first time I was doing dishes after a meal, he just walked in and just looked at me in bewildered disgust. I feel like it was the best way, just what are you doing?
My uncle called one time and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Cutting the grass." And he's like, "Well, what's Steven doing?" I said, "Cooking dinner." And he said, "You guys have your roles reversed." And it's like, no, This is actually, if we want to have a delicious dinner, Steven's going to cook it.
Aces in places.
Yes, for sure.
Now, are you one of those baking chefs that are I can't cook savory, or?
No, I really enjoy it. I would like to learn more about it, but I get home at 5 or 6 at night, and by that point Steven's been home by 2, and he
better have dinner ready.
And so he usually has dinner ready, so I definitely can cook some savory stuff, but I would say sweets are usually where I end up.
I love that.
I always think it's funny when people are like, "Oh, I don't want to cook for you because chefs, we got into the game because we love food."
But you just said that when you started the podcast. You just said, "I get really nervous when I have to cook for chefs."
I just, no, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
That. However, call him out.
But what I do is I never want to go fancy with chefs. With chefs, I'm just let's just make some good food.
Yeah, chefs don't want fancy.
I know you're gonna,
usually.
Yeah. I'm not gonna try to impress you with some
no,
hot cuisine.
Right.
Let's just eat something that's gonna make us all full and regret our decisions.
Sometimes simplicity is the best.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some great dishes out there that are kind of soul warming that are just plain and simple. You don't always need fancy.
What go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I get that, because like the one time you had me cook for Harder Brunch, I was panicking. I was scared. I didn't know, because like there's a bunch of chefs, people like that know food. I'm like, I don't know jack squat about food. I know how to eat, but like that's about it. And then so just having people judge you, it's a bit of a scary thing. But I think in Indianapolis, what I would really like to see is like just a 1 day a week or once a month, like a food history class. So you pick one thing, something that when Alan Sternberg comes here, he talks about the history of food and then how people used it and like why they cook it this way. And so like anytime I'm cooking with him or he's cooking, I'm watching him, like he explains like why we're doing this.
Right.
And I think that'd be so educational for people to be able to do that once a month.
You know, he makes most of that up, right? He just.
Oh, you think he lies?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I thought he was telling the truth.
He keeps such a straight face.
He does keep a straight face.
I do have to say, for anybody out there who gets really nervous to cook for a chef, go back to your comfort food, whether that's, that dish that your mom made that you've made a million times that you just know by heart, or whether that's some recipe that you found that's just your go-to recipe.
PB&J.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a delicious PB&J and a glass of cold milk.
Yeah.
I mean, we actually ate that for the whole week last week. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, so in our household, Stephen cooks on Monday and we eat that for 4 days, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we go out to eat. And so last week we had a whole bunch of stuff going on, and I just looked at Stephen and I said, don't try too hard. Just eat peanut butter and jelly. It's fine. We'll get some chips. We'll get some fruit. It'll be fine.
Nice.
And we just had peanut butter and jelly the whole week.
Can next week or not next week, next month, can we do a PB&J gourmet day?
Sure.
And I'll be the chef?
Yeah.
You're down for that?
We can each do one.
You guys want to compete?
Yeah.
You guys will lose if we're going against me. Like, I don't mess around, Zach, when it comes down to it.
I'm doing a Haitian PB&J.
You can't. That's
nope.
food.
I already called it.
Appropriation.
I already called it on here. Well, yeah, no, I'm appropriating.
Yeah, you can appropriate with food.
Did we already kind of do this when we went camping? Did we already try to do like...
oh, I definitely won that battle.
The pies.
Your guys' pies suck because they were burnt to hell.
Well, mine wasn't.
You remember his undercooked pie,
Yeah,
right?
no, his was terrible.
Yeah.
I would have taken any of the burnt pies over what you did.
The best PB&J in my book is made with black raspberry jelly.
Ooh.
Yes. My great-grandma used to make black raspberry jelly. Not a lot of people make it. Black raspberries are hard to pick. They're hard to find. And yeah, it's delicious. We actually get black raspberry jelly shipped from Amazon because that's the only jelly we have in house.
How do you feel about lingonberry jelly?
That's good.
It is good. I don't know that I would put it on a PBJ, but why not?
What about, okay, I like strawberry preserves. I'm not going to give my secrets away. I think that's really good.
Yeah.
And back where I grew up in the north, I think it was North Manchester. They had this Pizza Hut that would serve a peanut butter and jelly pizza.
What?
Yeah, and it was delicious.
I bet it was amazing.
Dang it! I just gave all my secrets away. We'll do this in like next year when everybody forgets.
Nice.
What do you do for like entertainment? Like, what's your go-to? Like,
if we have a free weekend, we love to just go to a nearby city and just explore it. We went to Columbus, Ohio recently. I never really had heard much about Columbus, and it's an awesome food city. There was one time Stephen was looking up a brewery. This is many, many, many years ago. And I said, what are you looking at? And he said, oh, there's this brewery out in Wisconsin that I really want to go to. And I said, what's it called? And he said, New Glarus. And I said, okay, well, why don't we go? And he goes, well, it's like a 5-hour drive. And I said, yeah, we have 2 days off. Let's just go.
Yeah.
And so we drove 36 hours, we drove 708 miles in 36 hours. We went through Chicago first. We went over to Madison, spent the night, had dinner, drove down to New Glarus, hit a barbecue shop in the middle of nowhere, and then came home.
I love those kind of vacations.
And that's the thing. It's like, if you have a free weekend, that's what we like to do. Just, go to Louisville, go to Cincinnati, like where we live.
Ever gone up and hit up all the Michigan breweries?
I haven't, and I would love to.
That is a really fun time.
We actually want to take a bus and go through Goshen.
Uh-huh.
There's a pizza place there called Pizza Venturi. and Esquire rated it one of the 15 most life-changing pizzas in the country.
Wow.
Yeah, it's one of the only DOC certified pizza places. And DOC, if you don't know, it's basically there's this group that they regulate Naples-style pizza. So it all has to meet this specific standard. And they are one of 80, I think, DOC certified places in the country. And so we want to go through Goshen, eat pizza, and then go up into Michigan, go to a bunch of breweries, and then come back. But we haven't found the bus for that yet. So
can I ask, what does DOC say? Detention of Corrections, or what was? Like this is prison pizza, right?
Yes.
This will change your life. It'll get you right back into.
It'll put you right back in the slammer for sure.
Now, do you have a special like pizza crust recipe?
I don't. Steven is kind of on a pizza kick right now.
Okay.
We did a pop up not too long ago with pizzas, and he's done everything from like Naples style to grandma pizzas, he calls it, Detroit style, super thin bar crust style. I mean, we try it all in our household. So,
well, if you guys ever want to come over and use my new wood fire, it's there.
Love it.
Only $20 an hour.
Yeah, sounds great.
And I have to eat some of the pizza.
That's fair. That's fair.
Taste it as it comes out.
Right.
Zach, I would like to talk about your crust that you just made. It was an amazing crust. I'm still trying to figure out, did you do something special to that crust?
Well, I mean, aside, like, I think the biggest thing you can do is make it like a couple days out, and, and give it time in the fridge to kind of work and rest and everything. And honestly, I think that the bricks in that oven
make it better.
Made it, yeah.
I will
because
say
I think
this.
the ceramic does such a better job at transferring the heat that it makes everything a lot better. That same dough in the inside oven wouldn't have been nearly as good.
Oh, okay. I will say this. A lot of people said this. It wasn't just me. They said it reminded them of DiGiorno pizza, and that's not a diss. If you laugh at DiGiorno pizza,
no, I wasn't.
No. No. Here's the thing, because you know what I'm talking about, the same type.
Yeah, it's like delivery.
Well, it's not delivery.
But yeah, it's more like it's DiGiorno. Yeah.
I will have you guys know that my aunt was on the team. This is not a lie.
The DiGiorno team?
Yes.
Haitian bobsled team?
No. Guys, are we going to be just joking around, or is this a food podcast?
All right.
Okay, we're being serious. Haitian bobsled team.
All right. Yeah, she worked for Kraft, and she created the recipe for DiGiorno. She was on that team. And so DiGiorno is kind of like home for me. So it's a compliment that I was trying to give you.
Well, thank you.
That I regret now.
I really appreciate it.
Which chemical did she contribute to the DiGiorno pizza crust?
Aspartame. No, I don't know.
Jenna, real quick, you kind of ran through this a bit before we started recording, but I would love for you to maybe hold up some of these. You brought all these wonderful products in, and just maybe not all of them, or whatever you want to, like just hold it up real quick for the camera and just kind of show some of the wonderful things that you make in 4 Birds.
So we have sour cream biscuits. They are super flaky, buttery. They toast up really, really well. When you toast them, they're kind of pillowy and crunchy on the outside. A lot of people know us for our English muffins. So,
because not many people make English muffins.
Not many people make English muffins from scratch. Nope. Ours have Greek yogurt in them, so they have a little bit of tang to them. And then we have salted chocolate chip. This is one of the recipes I grew up on as a kid. So it kind of has a special place in my heart. And then we have the oatmeal maple pecan cookie. This is the cookie that started the business. And it's chewy, it's crunchy, it's salty, it's sweet. It's just kind of all the things that you want. We actually created a candle for the holidays that is oatmeal maple pecan candle
That's
or cookie.
what smells.
Yeah. So we'll
that candle smells delicious.
It does
Thank
smell
you.
good. It smells great.
So we'll have those for sale throughout the holidays. And then if you could hold up that pack right there. During the pandemic, we started something that was our charity cookie program. So every quarter, we create a different cookie flavor, and the proceeds from that go to a different charity. And so this quarter, it's Big Brother, Big Sisters, and that is a black tea and honey cookie. So we use English breakfast tea, ground it up, put it inside the cookie, and then took honey granules and rolled it in honey granules. We did it to pair with 8th Day's Earl gin and tonic.
Ooh,
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And we're actually going to be doing an event next year, hopefully, if we can get it all worked out, to where we're going to be sponsoring some families for Christmas.
Oh, wow.
And all of our team can go and shop for whatever it is that those families need. And then they can come to the bakery, and hopefully we could get Santa to show up, and they could have cookies and presents with Santa. So the hope is that different proceeds from our charity cookies could go towards that for the end of next year.
I love that.
That's awesome.
I'd love to help out anyway. If you need a
Thanks.
Santa,
Love it.
if you need a Santa to show up, I will do that.
You have the voice
What,
for it.
Do you know Santa?
No, I would play Santa.
What do you mean play Santa?
I'd be Santa. What are you confused about?
Well, there's like one Santa. So you're going to like call him or something?
Yes.
Oh.
You're just going to represent him because he's very busy
Yes.
and he needs people to represent him.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got to say, it's a problem if you work anywhere that sells Four Birds cookies.
You don't speak from experience.
It'll turn into your breakfast.
It does,
and
yeah.
You come in and you
Yeah.
eat like one of those big cookies for breakfast. I blame some of this year's weight gain on Four Birds.
I was already told that someone's attorney was going to be reaching out to me because his weight gain was from Four Birds.
That was supposed to be undisclosed.
I didn't say you.
Okay.
And this is a real bread product, right?
It
so
is,
you can't
yes.
just leave it outside
No,
for a month.
We get a lot of people that will, even though it says on the label, keep refrigerated. We get a few people that will say, hey, I left this on the counter for 7 to 10 days and it started to mold. And it's like, well, we don't use any preservatives. It is made with yeast and it will mold. So make sure you refrigerate it.
Did you skip the whole like farmer's market thing? Like, did you not? Did you not ever do like the farmer's markets?
No, we do Garfield Park Farmers Market.
Oh, every week.
Every other week.
Okay.
This is actually our 5th year doing it. And every other week we make breakfast sandwiches there. And in 4 years, we have never recreated the same sandwich. So,
Wow.
Yeah, we do.
Do you have a spreadsheet?
I don't, no. But Steven always likes to just play around with different things and we come up with, different flavor combinations. And our last one, we always do a smash burger, and that was actually this past weekend. And we did a patty melt, for breakfast. So that was pretty awesome. And we've done everything from Asian inspired to Mexican to, we went out to Charleston one time and we did one with guava jelly and cream cheese.
Oh, wow.
I mean, yeah, we do lots of stuff. So
I
it
just
prevents us from opening up a restaurant.
Well, I think it's all. I feel like there's a certain club, and Zach's definitely in this club of people that have worked farmers markets, and you get a real interesting selection of people that you
do.
You get to meet some real interesting questions.
Yes, some people think that Four Birds is for bird consumption. I did have someone this past Saturday. My daughter was in a carrier on the front of me asleep. And he said, your daughter's really beautiful. And I said, thank you very much. And he said, can I take a picture of her? And I said, I would prefer that you do not. Yeah. So,
what?
Yeah. Yeah. So, there are different people out there. That's
Full
fine.
disclosure, I thought it was going to be a nice picture for brunch. Full disclosure, because I knew they were coming.
Does anyone ever have any like helpful suggestions for you when they come by?
Oh yeah, lots of people have helpful suggestions. Somebody told us that our biscuits were the worst thing that they had ever had, and suggested that we come up with a different recipe for them. We had one person that actually.
Go ahead. You were going to say something.
Oh no, I just commiserating. I had a guy who must have watched like the documentary behind Sriracha the day before, because he came and just stood in front of my stand and told me about everything Sriracha did right and everything I'm doing wrong.
Yes.
He's like, well, in the documentary they had them really cheap.
Right.
He's like, these should be cheaper.
Yeah, we had somebody that told me that they could go to the grocery and buy cookies for cheaper than what I was selling them for.
Yeah.
I got put sampling mustard right across like the aisle from the French's mustard one day. And so the whole time it was like, wow, your mustard's $5. What about this, 50-cent mustard?
Right.
It was
Yeah.
fucking terrible.
We also, this one still gets me. This person walked in to the bakery actually and wanted to purchase some of our cookies. And I said, all right, what do you want? And they said, well, I heard about these charity cookies and I would like to try them. Are they good? And I said, yeah, we just baked some off and we had one that broke. Would you want to try it? I'll give you a sample. And so they tried it and they said, wow, that's really delicious. I'd like to buy a pack. And I said, okay. So I get it together. We're ringing them out and they open up the pack of 4 cookies and they take a bite out of one and they said, I don't want these anymore. And I said, I'm sorry? And they said, yeah, these don't taste like those. And I said, they all came from the same batch. And they said, well, these aren't as chewy as those. And I said, I'm sorry, but it's the same batch. Maybe there was a little bit of extra butter in that one that came from the bottom or something. I don't know. And they said, well, maybe you should change the recipe. Oh. And I was like, okay.
This one's broken.
Yeah, so we definitely had some interesting.
What was the guy that wanted you to make blueberry mustard?
I got that one a couple times. I think there's somebody that made a really popular blueberry mustard. And people would request random flavors from you. And then they wouldn't be buyers. They'd come up and they'd be like, well, I'd buy from you if you had, cardamom cookies or something bizarre.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they never would.
Well, in the same breath, I had somebody tell me that we should add more cranberries to our cinnamon cranberry cookie and it should be cheaper.
Oh.
And I'm thinking to myself, well, if we had more cranberries, it's going to be more expensive. But, that's okay.
People come up to Thad after comedy shows all the time, and they're just like, write funnier jokes. Maybe if you wrote funnier and more of them, you'd be successful. And
I think
it's rude.
Well, it is rude. It is rude when people try to correct you in that way. And I told you that in confidence as well. I do want to say something. If you guys are messing with 4 Birds, trying to tell them to up their recipes and all that stuff, listen, they're Harder Brunch back now, so back off. We can we threaten people on this podcast?
Sure, you can.
We will kill you. All right.
I do not back that, but
she backs it.
Harder Brunch and all subsidiaries does not.
Okay, we won't. No, we won't kill you. I guess we can't say that anymore with cancel culture. You can't threaten anybody, but we will give you 4 birds, and I'm not talking about the ones that fly in the air. I'm talking about the middle fingers, baby.
Oh,
hey.
Maybe that's a joke that you bring up at farmers markets.
There you go. Someone suggested that we have a T-shirt that just has 4 birds sitting on a tree branch, and one of them's taller than the other, so it looks like a middle finger.
Oh, very subtle.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yep.
Can you drop a beat for me there, Zach Road? Jenna Unrue, thank you. I'm glad we finally, after 3 years, got you on. I hope it's not another 3 years before you come back.
Please do not make it another 3 years.
I think we should have both of them on.
Well, we could do another couples counseling.
A couples counseling.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, like a Willie Bostick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so maybe you guys figure out a problem and then come on and we'll solve it for you.
Yeah.
With food.
We do.
There you go.
Yes.
Where can people find you and follow you and buy all these wonderful products?
Absolutely. So we have clients from Westfield to Greenwood. That is listed on our website, 4birdsbakery.com, and that is the number 4. And we have a list of clients there. You can also find us at the Garfield Park Farmers Market from May through October. And you can also come to the bakery for our pop-ups. We do 1 a month, and then we also have the retail days on Friday.
Zach Rowe.
You can find me at Zach_Roan on all social media.
Daddy is Jay McKee.
You can find me at 4middlefingers.com or at Thad McKee on Instagram.
I'm at Dyke Michaels on all social media. We also do a hilarious Patreon show called After Brunch, where me and Thad like to talk about topics of the day, break them down, sensually.
Sensually,
yeah. You go to patreon.com/Harder Brunch, and it's only $3.
Yes, it's only $3. You'll hear about Dyke's amazing stories where he's possibly, can't bleep this out, crapped his pants.
Bleeped his pants.
Yeah, it's not for the kids.
No, it's not for the kids. Or adults, really. It's not for most people.
Not for anyone.
Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
It's FUBU, for us, by us.